For today's story, we are talking about Hollywood director Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski's woes continue because in 1977, he pled guilty to unlawful, prurient interactions with a 13-year-old. Unfortunately, he fled before he could be imprisoned, and he has been a fugitive from justice ever since. Now, there has been a lot of questions regarding his case, obviously, because this has been kind of going on for a long time because he pled guilty in 1977 and never suffered any punishment. So one of the things was like, well, what was happening exactly? But of course, those are criminal proceedings and a lot of those records have been sealed. But a California appeals court on Wednesday ordered the unsealing of a conditional deposition transcript in the case. So there are some transcripts relating to his criminal case that have been sealed since 1977, and the California Appeal Court has decided that they should be unsealed. So we might be learning more about the horror of Roman Polanski based on these transcripts. The deposition transcript in question is one of Roger Gunson, the former prosecutor in the case who retired in 2002. The Los Angeles District Attorney who formally opposed to unsealing the documents but lifted his opposition on Tuesday. So the district attorney didn't want this deposition released, but he's decided to release the complaint. The conditional deposition of Gunson was a post-plea evidentiary hearing designed to uncover alleged abuses. And we agree with the people that there's no factual or legal basis for the conditional deposition to remain sealed. So whatever proper purpose there might have been, assuming there was one at one point, in terms of internal matters of the prosecuting, in terms of like potential other criminal people, in terms of whatever interests might have existed at one point, they no longer exist, which isn't, terribly surprising since 1977 is quite a few years ago compared to 2022. So, whatever potential crimes or whatever potential internal issues there are, it's a little bit hard to justify keeping those secrets now. The request to unseal was submitted by journalists Sam Wasson and William Rempel, arguing alongside their lawyer that state law and public interest require the testimony to be unsealed. He was ill at the time of testimony and feared it would not be well enough to testify in any case. Well, be that as it may, there's no interest of the prosecuting office or of third parties to keep it secret anymore, so release it. Over the years, this long suppressed document has contributed to considerable legal confusion and conflicting assumptions about the court's conduct. As journalists and historians, we hope the ruling finally helps clarify the public record. It might do some of that. As of the filming of this video, there has been no date released as to when the records will be released, although we imagine that would happen relatively soon, but who knows, because this has been going on so long. At any rate, we hope the DA's concession, the order the DA will in the future respect the rights of access to the public, rather than require they fight it out. Well, I don't know about that, but at least you're getting this deposition. Director Roman Polanski, pictured in this article, appeared at an international film festival where he promoted his film, which he's still producing films. So he's been a successful Hollywood director. So if you're trying to determine the overall temperament of Hollywood, they are working with someone who pled guilty to prurient interactions with a 13-year-old and apparently have no problems continuing to work with him and give him awards. So that might speak somewhat to Hollywood's overall temperament, but that's perhaps you have an opinion on that issue. This case has been described by the courts as one of the longest running sagas in California criminal justice history. It's been going on for a while. For years, this office has fought the release of information the victims and public have the right to know. It is the belief of several in supporting the unsealing. The transcript would reveal the original presiding judge had violated the law and court standards in abandoning the plea deal with Polanski as a result of media reports and ex-parte conduct. So yeah, there might have been some, there was a whole lot of issues going on, and some of them might have been with the court as well in 1977, in terms of how he was able to escape justice. So there's a lot of problems there. So I don't know if this transcript will reveal everything or even really anything, but at least it's something that might give us something of a clue. Thus, that brings us to the end of the discussion of Roman Polanski's criminal case, an ongoing issue since 1977, in which Roman Polanski, who Hollywood has no problem working with, despite the fact that he pled guilty to pruriently engaging a 13-year-old. And Hollywood has had no problem working with him or giving him awards since 1977. We might gain some information relating to the prosecution in sort of looking at some evidence that the prosecutor themselves generated, which might help reveal the prosecution and or judicial role in how this case went sideways. So we might be getting some information to try to solve the long-running Roman Polanski issue, and at least for the moment, that brings us to the end of discussion of this case. Thank you so much for being part of the Uncivil Law family. If you enjoyed this legal education content, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. We appreciate your continuing support. Until later, my friends, cheers and goodbye.